Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old to history to anecdotes to really wherever our whims take us. The Eraser, a Silver Age gem of a villain with a silly costume but an interesting concept, buried beneath some Silver Age execution. A fashionable pencil with a service he offers to villains wherein he comes in and erases all the clues from your crime for 20% of the take before taxes. Cause he's gonna be quasi-legitimate about it, I guess. Lenny Fiasco, essentially a fixer slash cleaner for supervillains, but in Gotham. So because it's there you can do so much. You can really add to it if you want to. I did a video taking a look at his one full story in Batman 188 from 1966, and then lamented how he hadn't been used to his fullest potential, or rather it hadn't fully been seen or realized as of yet. And that except for a few cameo appearances here and there post-Crisis on Infinite Earths, he hadn't really been around. I then pitched a bunch of ideas for how he could be brought forward to the modern era at the time of this recording and updated, kind of made a bit more threatening, or at least more interesting or nuanced. Like, what secrets would he hear or be in on, especially if he's showing up mid-crime? How would he use that knowledge to his advantage? Or would he? Or would he be blackmailed by other people? Would he try to steal some things for himself, or perhaps purposely start leaving clues to misdirect people, making it seem like crimes were committed by people that they weren't? Could you pay him for that? Would that be another service that he offered? But then in the comments, which I do read, I got a message from Sarah. I had missed an Eraser appearance. He had indeed returned in the modern age and that I had not seen it. Well, you know what I had to do? I had to go check that out. My excitement knew no bounds. Did someone else out there see the potential of Lenny Fiasco? Was Lenny about to have his day? I hopped right on over to the Detective Comics Annual from 2019 to check it out. And well, now I'm reporting back to tell you that my disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. And I'm going to tell you all about it and why. But before we get started, I'm Sasha, and if you're enjoying this content, you know what to do. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Join us on this comic book journey. Now, of course, if you missed our first video on the Eraser, please do check that out because it'll make all of this make a lot more sense. I will have the card and the link. Now, we don't need to actually take a look at this entire Detective Comics Annual, which is written by Peter J. Tomasi with art by Travis Moore, by the way. Because if you're going into this purely for the Eraser, which I'm doing because, you know, that's the type of person I am, well then he's only on 2 pages. Which, granted, is better than the one panel he was getting in other appearances. Those being when he popped up post-1966. He even speaks in this one, and he's been revamped. After his last appearances in the late 2000s, DC had gone through some canon changes. There was the New 52 kicking off in 2011, which hardcore rebooted the entire DC universe. And then that was softly retconned in 2016 with Rebirth. And that has been further changed in 2020 and is still being changed at the time of this recording. But this comic comes from 2019, so this places us in the Rebirth era of DC Comics. All of that is to say that this Eraser is different from the Lenny who came before. Classic Lenny was your typical Silver Age crook. He had some tech, some kind of special cleaning fluid in his eraser head. I like to imagine it was just a giant Mr. Clean magic eraser. And he was loosely motivated by having had a past of having to erase his mistakes. And also because Bruce Wayne stole his girl, Celia Smith, the Ice Queen. Well, now it's time to meet the update. Here he is. Oh yes, look at him. So we have a lot to piece together and extrapolate upon because all of this happens very quickly. The sequence is essentially that Batman is stopping the Eraser after a crime gone wrong. More wrong. Crime is wrong, kids. First up, our look has changed. The attempt to modernize has done away with a tailored pencil-style suit and has instead given him a loosely pencil-themed sweater and beige pants, maybe khakis. Gone is the Eraser helmet, and instead has been replaced with what Sarah called, and I think accurately so, a Bart Simpson haircut. Because this Eraser is a meta-human who can literally erase things with his hands and head. He's erasing things on the panel as this is going on, you can see it. And he accidentally erased someone fully from existence, and that's why Batman's after him. But the person he accidentally erased is his ex-wife's boyfriend, so I'm gonna need some more details on that, Lenny. Didn't mean to literally rub him out of existence. I don't care. You killed someone. You pay. My city. My rules, Eraser. He gunks up his hands and head with something, I don't know, bat paste, and hands him over to the police. And that's it, that's the Eraser. It has no bearing on the rest of the story. It's just a little opening crime stoppage for Batman to, you know, wet your whistle. So the fact that he's here is clearly a nod to the fact that Tomasi remembered the Eraser existed, and appreciated him in some capacity, which yay! But the yay ends there. Look what they've done to my boy. He's a cheese stick. I wanted more Eraser. But not like this. For many reasons. Let's go over some. One is, it's yet another throwaway. But also the jokey element is gone, so you're meant to take him more seriously in a way. But this update has him just be sad and unthreatening, with a gimmick that, while more dangerous, still manages to be silly, even if it's not played that way. The look update. Well, miles will vary, but not to mince words, but I don't think it's working. I don't think it's an improvement. There have been some comments in the past video I did, because I asked how would you update the look, and some of the ideas involved things like tailoring the suit a bit more, or perhaps having the pencil-themed colors be an accent. I also got a suggestion that he should dye his hair, since that's in right now anyway. He kind of have an e-boy-ish look. And I have to say, all of that sounds better than what is here, in my opinion. I don't know, seeing this update has kind of made me feel like his OG look is low-key iconic. Here he is cameoing in Scooby-Doo and Batman, The Brave and the Bold. I don't hate the idea of him being a metahuman who literally erases things, but I think that still would have been more interesting if applied to his past concept. Now, in all fairness, a lot of my salt comes from the fact that I had very clear ideas as to what I would do with the eraser, and this does none of them. It just feels a bit like a waste, even though the eraser's been given a massive power boost. Now, in all fairness, you could do something with this too, but this feels like a throwaway and like it has more cliche bones than the pre-crisis story. And that's saying something, because that story had a sexy eraser model. Hashtag not my eraser. But I did miss out on this appearance when I was talking about the eraser, so I felt I'd be remiss not to tell you. Especially since it changes him so significantly. But remember, Omniverse and whatever comes after, so all things matter currently, time of recording. I can have my eraser and erase him too. I mean, I can do that anyway. Headcanons unite. What do you think of this update? Do you like the idea of the eraser being an actual human eraser? Would you be more interested in seeing him come back in this capacity or in his past capacity as a more cleaner slash fixer for villains? Would you merge the two? Are you just wondering why I care so much about this B tier villain? B tier, C tier, D tier? F tier? Let me know your thoughts down below. While you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking this time today to spend it discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.